I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to and what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour, take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought.
I can tell you that 7 years after Freddie Gray, that was 2015, spring, April, May. This is 2022. Communities like Sandtown, all we saw then and now in terms of investment was a renovated Western District Police Station and a new funeral home. That's what West Baltimore got. A new police station and a new funeral home. What kind of optics are they? Was Freddie Gray any different than 1968 Baltimore riots? Dr. King's passing, killing, murder? This is the same?
No, it wasn't. I mean, I think, well, first of all, people who are being violent and burning, that's, you know, all that's the same. But the point is what was the cause and what were they attempting to register?
I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns. They deserve an ounce. It's got next. And I'll be quiet. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown.
Good morning. First name's Doni, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. So my question is, are you buying it? Are you buying the rhetoric that we've been given here in the city of Baltimore? Are you buying the rhetoric? Right now, we have a new Baltimore City State's Attorney. And as the events of this week have unfolded, there's this notion in the air that a magic wand is going to be waved. I heard the new state's attorney, and I'm just telling you what I've seen. New state's attorney comes in. He says very publicly at his swearing in that the officers, the police officers, that the Baltimore City police officers can now do their jobs. Am I missing something? Are you buying this? Now, I'm not talking about the state's attorney, past or former, past or present. But you see, now, he said, now you can do your jobs in terms of prosecuting low-level crime. And it's troubling. It's almost as if when he comes in and says this, and the mayor has been saying these, you know, what he's been saying for the past 2 years, 2.5 years. It's all of this stuff. It's a bunch of smoke and mirrors. I'm not sure who to believe. Were we to believe Marilyn Mosby? Were we to believe the mayor? Are we to believe Ivan Bates? What are we to believe here in the city of Baltimore? Yesterday on WEAA, I interviewed Rick Height, Rick Height used to be lieutenant colonel here in the city of Baltimore. City of Baltimore never elevated him. Good cop, great community relations person. During the interview, I couldn't hear him. He said he was in a bad place. I said, well, you knew you were coming on at 4 o'clock. And he did. I couldn't hear him. And he was telling me his responses, his commentary on the city of Baltimore, which is off the hook. And so I want to pose it to you. What do you see happening here in the city of Baltimore? You have the Fox commentary, you have the Baltimore Sun commentary, you have the Baltimore Banner commentary. And their commentary often does not match the sentiments in the community. It does not match the perspective in the community. Sure, everybody is upset, irate, angry when young people get killed. There was a shooting yesterday, for those who do not know, a quintuple shooting. 5 people shot, 1 Edmondson West Side student killed. The young people were across the street at Popeyes. And so when you consider the commentary from your Thiru Vignaraja type personalities, who certainly blame the mayor. I mean, he blames everybody because Thiru Vignaraja wants a job. He ran for state's attorney twice, ran for mayor twice, something like that. He's a perennial loser that Fox keeps bringing on. And they bring on the former Baltimore City Police guy, Jason. And of course, he's pointing fingers. But nobody takes responsibility. There's the song, the theme song to this show that comes on. It says, nobody wants to take responsibility. We want the fancy jobs, but nobody wants. I've never heard anyone take responsibility for Baltimore City Public Schools. I've never heard anyone take responsibility for the crime. Everybody says that they can do the job, that they can make a difference. But at the end of the day, what we have is a city where the criminals have taken over. And there's a long storyline in there. White people are not going to generally see it the way Black people see it, generally speaking. The way people who don't live in the Black community take it, or get the squeegee kids off the corners. I was having a conversation with a white guy yesterday, and he was definitely upset about the squeegee kids. And I said, sir, in our community, we're not thinking about the squeegee kids. We're thinking about getting to our car, getting to the store, and getting back home without being shot by either some wild young people getting caught in the crossfire of a gang war, or just having to deal with the neighborhood drug dealer. Our concern is not the squeegee kids, but every single day, the news talks about the squeegee kids as if they are the root of the problem. Nobody wants to take responsibility. Let me give you a case in point. We have a guest that's coming. Lisa, I need you to be, well, let me just bring you up, but we need to be patient with me for a second. But here in the city of Baltimore, back in 1973, the politicians, mostly Democrat. Maryland is a 2-to-1 Democratic state. Baltimore City is a 9-to-1 Democratic city. The politicians pushed the Maryland State Lottery on us. I liked it. I think it was more beneficial to the Black community when Little Willie Adams ran it, because their monies actually went into Black businesses. Businesses could open, expand, what have you. It was a direct correlation. The people who spending the money, the community that was spending the money is the same community where these businesses got to grow. But they took that over. A attempted to demonize Mr. Adams. Then they bring Mr. Adams back and have him consult them on the Maryland State Lottery. But the lottery was pushed down our throats with the #1 promise of money for education. Do you know how much money has come through the Maryland State Lottery? They used to have it on Wikipedia, but I said it so much, I think they took it down. Over $15 billion has come through the Maryland State Lottery. $15 billion. They promised money for education in 1973. $15 billion, enough to build a football stadium, M&T Bank Stadium, enough to build a baseball stadium, Camden Yards, 2 new stadiums. Yet, Aaron Maben showed us where in the coldest months, there are icicles on the windows of our Baltimore City Public Schools. This September, a few months ago, school was closed on certain days because it was too hot. We have a Baltimore City Schools CEO that makes $350,000 a year. So I'm not understanding the accountability. Everybody wants credibility. Nobody wants accountability. What am I missing? So then Ivan Bates comes in. This is the part you missed, Lisa. Ivan Bates comes in, and my rhetorical question, having interviewed former Lieutenant Colonel, former Indianapolis Police Commissioner Rick Hite yesterday. Ivan Bates said he's now prosecuting low-level crimes. In other words, police, you can do your job now. And I'm wondering, am I to believe this? Am I to believe this with my ears that, okay, now you can do your job? Well, what in the hell have we been dealing with all of this time? People who are not doing their job? The criminals have taken over. And while people are playing politics, a young man just got killed yesterday. I don't believe the politicians anymore. I've seen too much death and carnage. I've seen too much corruption. I have no faith in these politicians at all. Baltimore's off the hook, and people are in charge who do not clearly know what they're doing. Lisa Phillips, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, thank you so much, as always, for being a champion for the community. I mean, we don't have as many voices as we need, you know.
Have you seen these streets of Baltimore?
Yeah. I mean,
it's a lot of finger pointing, Lisa. It's a lot of finger pointing. Fox, I mean, clearly they are racist. Whether Marilyn Mosby did a good job or not, what came about as a result of Marilyn Mosby prosecuting the cops was this consent decree. And that's what we are under, a consent decree.
Mm-hmm.
And so as much as they're talking this rhetoric, the consent decree prevents, it changes the way police have to police. Before they tell you get off the corner, and if you're here when I come back, you're getting locked up. It's not like that now. You can push back. Oh, you can't tell me what to do. Meanwhile, while we have all of these rights, a young man just got killed in high school yesterday. He went to school and he did not go home. And people are angry. People are tired because as much rhetoric as the news spews, there are people who do the right thing all the time. There are people who take care of the community, who raise their children, who are involved, who are engaged, who go to community meetings, who do all of these things. And I remember one of these police commissioners says, well, the people in the community, the men in the community have to step up and do more. Do more? We already carrying a load of 10 and 20 people. And I'm not buying it. I'm not buying all of a sudden, okay, now you can prosecute crime and it's a magic wand. And so you weren't doing your job all this time. We told you weren't doing your job. And now, I don't know what to believe. I know we're here to talk about employment opportunities, but this is at the root of it. When Freddie Gray happened, The only thing that has happened, this is 2023, that was 8 years ago. The only thing that happened that changed in this community where Freddie Gray got killed, Western District, Sandtown, we got a new a renovated police station and a new funeral home. Black politicians everywhere.
So I think instead of the finger pointing, that we want to look towards solutions. And
do your damn job.
Well, so you need something before you get a job. Anybody can get a job. You need skills, and because skills strengthens your chance of stability. So, but I would like to say something, aligned with our new state's attorney. Government alone can't do it. The school
community alone can't do it.
I'm sorry?
The community alone can't do it.
Right.
Especially in already challenged communities. You look at East Baltimore, you look at West Baltimore. These are communities that are hanging on by a thread. These communities are barely holding on. We see all of the investment that goes into the White Owl. You know the White Owl, Johns Hopkins University, straight down to the harbor over to Canton. That's the White Owl. But East and West Baltimore, they get neglected. No investment. Mm-hmm. I'm coming through Greenmount. I'm looking at Greenmount Recreation Center, 24th and Greenmount. That rec is not, they need a brand, they need a big super rec over there.
Right.
Considering all of the dope, the coke, the murders, the killings. And this is what we give. We get to them. We got all of these athletes that we put up on a pedestal. Where's the give back from that community? We don't have. We got one new rec down in Cherry Hill. I'll fall back, Lisa.
No. What I'm saying is, at the grassroots and at the floor level, who are the leaders in those areas you mentioned? And the reason I'm saying that is because, I had a meeting recently with.
They don't want to deal with these problems.
No, well, what I'm saying is, there are a lot of organizations in the private sector that want to help. I'm working on a project now where, Pepsi told me, like, we will give them jobs and pay for training right now because people don't leave Pepsi, they retire. So they have a whole workforce of diesel mechanics that are retiring. And so Pepsi want to use that opportunity to bring in, younger individuals to be able to take those jobs. And I mean, they start at $34 an hour, but they're going to pay for the train. And so, I think that the disconnect is attaching the community to the resources. So the resources is out there. Like my heart smiles when I sit in these meetings and they say, look, this is what we have. And like I said, so, but you have to take the position that the school system can't do it alone. The community can't do it alone. Government can't do it alone. You need.
Actually, I see the school system, the government, the other entities. I see them as having failed the Black people of Baltimore. They failed. All of them have failed. The nonprofits, they failed.
Well, this is
that's where I'm at. And that's my reality today.
But you have to look at how the nonprofits exist. That's why
I don't even know. I don't even know.
Well, I know the infrastructure, and so
I mean, I see what they say.
Right.
I see the money they get, but I don't see the impact that's being made.
Right. Well, once again, it's about resources. It's about knowledge. It's about reimagining. If you look at the successful nonprofits, and there are a ton of them, they found a way.
How can it be successful if Baltimore is off the hook?
Well, I mean,
If they're a ton that's successful, then why is Baltimore off the hook?
well, because all the nonprofits are not successful. I'm saying the ones that I know, they are being run as businesses. They're not being run as a nonprofit where we're just waiting to get the check and we just pay everybody.
I
No.
know you do work. I know you do work because I call you and you engage people and you get them in the program. But then a lot of them not. That's why we call on you as much as we do, because we know you do the work. But a lot of
Well,
these people are just getting money. They
right,
get
right.
$30 million. Do you get $30 million in funding?
Well, I don't get any funding from Baltimore, but I serve a lot of
Oh,
Baltimore people.
you serve
Hmm.
the most vulnerable
Hmm.
populations in
Hmm.
Baltimore,
Hmm.
but you got to get funding from out of state.
Right. I use my, well, because
Wow,
because I
wow.
don't I don't
What
need,
what's
because
wrong with
I,
the,
I'm
don't
sorry, say it
why
again.
don't the local nonprofits see the work that you do?
Oh, they do. I mean, but you have to understand the infrastructure. So,
The infrastructure sucks.
well, they think my infrastructure suck, because they think that I'm doing this as a one woman show. But no, I got a lot of engines behind me. You just only see me. And I had a Baltimore City agency tell me, oh, well, if you get a, administrative assistant, if you get a staff, but no, I rather take that money and invest it in families, so we just have a philosophical difference on how the services should be delivered. But the only thing I'm going to do is keep helping families to win, And so, because um, if I had to pay 12 people, I couldn't have helped 20 families this past Christmas with Christmas gifts, So, like I said, there's nothing wrong with what they're saying they would do if I would do it in order for them to help me, but it would take me away from how I help families. And so like I said, there's some wonderful nonprofits, but the model that I have is family, 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 family. How can we make the family better? And so that's why I lean heavily on the private sector, on companies like Walgreens and Pepsi. Like they they have done work, but if you got to pay an executive director 100,000, and you got to pay the secretary 80,000, of course, it's not going to look like anybody's helping, but they are, but once again, it's a matter of your scope. My scope is, how can I make the families better? I lost a contract recently because I paid people's utilities, I paid their rent, and I used payment platforms. So, that was not acceptable, and that's fine. And I'm not going to push back on what their
Thank
requirements
you for
are.
helping people.
Right. So, because my thing is,
You
um,
shouldn't have to, considering as much as you do and as much heart as you have for our
mhm,
community. You
mhm.
should be able to get whatever you need done. And what
Well, the
troubles me,
only thing,
let me
the,
just get this out. What troubles
mhm.
me in the city of Baltimore is we have Black people in prominent positions who want to be in charge, who have no freaking clue of what's going on.
Well, I think,
Because if they did, Baltimore wouldn't be this off the hook. We can't, how much can we blame white people about what's going on? Now, white people played a role in this historically, and even so with institutional racism that continues to this day. Car insurance. Is car insurance more expensive in 21217, 21215, 21216 because it's Black?
well, it's not
Yes.
higher because it's higher because of the accident rates, and so
White people have
but
accidents.
yeah,
They always
well,
want to say that Black people, Black people. It's
no,
institutionally a racist country, and they ain't changing.
so uh, everything that you're saying, has some validity, but I am so focused on the family.
All
What
right.
can we do to help the family? So that's why in my trainings I do workforce I do family workforce. So if the daughter is coming to my program, the you know the daughter will come, like, can my mother, log in? I've had people say, oh, my husband followed, he logged on. And it's only because people wake up wanting to do better and get better, but they don't have a map. So how do we draw the map? And so I wanted to come on today, to talk about something that we lost, and that's helping our youth to dream. And so I'm working with an organization in Washington, D.C. It's the AAMC, it's the American Association of Medical Colleges. We're going to get some young people from Baltimore, to actually see that there's a way forward for them to get into medical school. And we're going to provide the support. We're going to provide, the resources, because a lot of times people just don't know where to get the information from, and so.
How did that come about? And what phone number do we want to put up here for you, Lisa Phillips? How do you want people to contact you?
So they can reach out to me on Facebook. It's Lisa Pierce. I'm on Instagram, Celebrate Us Careers. And, the one thing that I'm really adamant about is helping people dream again, helping people to feel that there's hope for them. Stop letting people treat the mistakes they made in their life as a winter coat, that they got to wear every day. No.
Like being a returning citizen.
Oh, absolutely. And so
or
you
like being a recovering person in recovery from drugs and alcohol.
You asked me, how did this come about? Because I don't get the support from Baltimore, it doesn't mean that I don't have mad love for Baltimore.
You got mad love for Baltimore.
Right,
I know you do. I've called on you multiple times.
But what I'm doing is I'm building these programs outside of Baltimore, then bringing them back. And so, this is a program I'm actually doing with Rikers Island. And,
really?
Oh yeah, and I was just so
all the way in New York City.
Oh yeah. Well, for one thing, I get funding in New York, and so
Have you ever been to Rikers?
I have not, and that's what we're planning now. I'm going to be working.
I would like to go.
Okay, that's fine. And
I got to introduce you to Victor Pate in New York City. Victor Pate is the returning citizens guru in New York City. Every time we do a Black Wall Street in Harlem, Mr. Victor Pate brings us people from that community. Let me just conversation. He brought this one man into the fold that we gave a Black Wall Street award to. You remember the Black Wall Street Awards? And the man built a library on Rikers Island. So don't tell me what returning citizens can't do. He built a library on Rikers Island. That's what we can do.
Oh, no, we can do it.
No one else sees what we do. The genuine people. I'm sorry. Thank you for listening.
So the organization I'm working with, they do outreach, and they scour the country looking for opportunities to help people believe that they can, do some great things. So one of the things that I was sharing with someone yesterday is how incarcerated people, how poor their health care is. So if you're a woman that's pregnant,
you got that right.
Right. So if you're a woman that's pregnant and you're incarcerated and you go into labor, you have to deliver your baby while you're in shackles. And so that's so dehumanizing.
Damn right it is.
So like, for one thing, you're so gripped with pain. Where are you going? You're not going anywhere. But so this project that I'm doing is creating.
Who does that?
Oh no, I mean it's the rules that's been accepted, but what
it's been accepted because half of the damn prisoners are Black.
Well,
in a 13% Black country. Let's talk about that. How the hell are we 13% of the general population, but 50% of the prisons?
Well, I certainly don't have an answer for that. But what I do know is that this initiative is so that So what I'm working on is an all returning citizen healthcare workforce training. So returning citizens can help incarcerated citizens. Because if her OBGYN doctor is a former uh, incarcerated person, then that inmate is going to get the compassion that they deserve, you know. And so this organization is really mentoring me on how uh, we can get someone that hasn't because all charges or all convictions won't qualify. But for the convictions that qualify, we're going to support and groom and help that person get into medical school. And so, like I said,
We're not going to put a phone number out there, Lisa. You want them to find you on social media?
You can put my phone number out there, but we're starting it here in Baltimore with a summer enrichment camp. So if you have a relative,
what's the phone number?
443-591-2658. And
do you teach typing? A lot of our people can't type.
So there's so many ways to get those skills. So, oh my goodness, I work with some amazing partners that do exactly that, get people comfortable with technology. And one of the things that the prisons have done is now incarcerated individuals can have tablets. And so, which means that that's a landscape where they can learn, and so because they now can have that, there's a push for more behind the walls trainings, so people can leave, prison with an offer letter.
You used to could get a college education in prison, but they changed that here in the state of Maryland.
Well, they bought it back. They bought back, they bought some things back because there's evidence of what a returning citizen can do.
But there's been evidence. They had people getting degrees, and then all of a sudden they stopped it because of certain probably Republican-minded people who feel like returning citizens don't deserve a second chance.
It's
not all Republicans. I'm not going to say that. Malik Rahman.
It's 2658. 2658, Doni. 2658. 58 at the end. I just saw that.
Did you know Malik Rahman?
No, I do not.
Icon. We lost him. He went home. Helped a lot of people. And you mentioned healthcare. I can't begin to tell you how many times I've heard the story of Black men who have served 20, 30 years in prison who catch cancer, and that's when they release them.
Right, because
I'm talking about the food.
Well, the reason
they've
for
been
that,
feeding our brothers and sisters.
The reason for that is because the facility has to contribute to their cost of care. So,
hateful people got every excuse not to treat Black people like human beings.
Well, once again, we have
until it's their mother who's locked up. Until it's their mother who's locked up. When it's somebody else like that, I think about that Black lady. I had to write something for Baltimore County this week. I thought about that Black lady out in Baltimore County who got hip tossed by the police. 70-year-old Black woman. This a couple years back, just when Johnny Ochesky came in office, Black woman got hip tossed. They were looking for a granddaughter. Granddaughter brought the drama home, or however it happened. At the end of the day, grandma got hip tossed by some white Baltimore City police. And she should have sued the drawers off of them. Because they wouldn't do that to their own mother. They wouldn't do that to a white woman who's 70 years old, but they did it to a Black woman. And I'm talking about this disparity. This convenient disparity that continues. And it's sickening.
Every industry has, good and bad professionals. And so
America got too many damn racists, and they need to just get a life. I mean, Donald Trump. Can you imagine that Donald Trump is actually influencing American politics right now? They talk about Marilyn Mosby over a damn $350 or $350,000 house that she bought with her own damn money. But Donald Trump, Fox won't touch Donald Trump. You know why? Because it's white privilege on trial, and they're not going to do anything about it. but it's going to come back and bite them in the ass.
Well,
can you imagine a child you raise disrespecting you, swinging on you, muddying your family's name, and you do nothing about it? My daddy said, I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. And that's what Donald John Trump needs. He needs somebody to bring him a reality check. I cannot believe this country is going for this hocus pocus. You've been following McCarthy and, you know.
Well, one of the things that always rises, it might take long, but, you know, the people have the final say, you know, and so, you know, and that's with anything. If you focus on people, the people get you where we need to go. And so that's why I focus on my students, because, you know, how can you make this every year over year, Celebrate Us has less and less to do with me and more to do with the students I'm serving. And how can I help them get some confetti thrown on them? You know,
tell me about some of your graduates. Whatever happened to the Muslim sister?
Oh, wow. So she's actually returning to my program to do additional training. And so if you remember, she was very young, you know, she was 16 in a gang. And so when she got released, she was a young woman. And so she got, you know, she got married and she just had her beautiful baby boy, Noah. But she's coming back to do my health administration training. And so the best student is a returning student, you know, and so I'm so thrilled how
she's coming back for more training.
Yeah, she's coming back because the bottom line is that you need skills to lift your family out of poverty, not a job, not to be a cherry picker. You know, you need skills. You know, one of the things that I'm pushing with working with these big, you know, manufacturing companies is the jobs and the careers that are beyond the forklift. You know, you go into any warehouse and all you see are our, you know, brothers and sisters riding on the forklift. But if you get on the elevator and go to one floor up, that's where the supply chain management people are. You know, and that's
you want to train more people for management.
Absolutely, because I'm not saying you can't make a decent living on a forklift, but when you are in the building where you're making $15 an hour, but right on the second floor, somebody's making $108,000, you know, and It's not about a college degree, it's about access.
And apply yourself. And also, well, here's the thing, Lisa. I was talking to a person, they clearly could do the job at the next level, but they said, I don't want to be a supervisor. That's too much work. What's up with that thinking?
So that's a fear of failure. You know, that's a fear of rejection. And so that's
it's not realistic. I mean, they say they don't want the responsibilities, like the paperwork.
Right. Well,
and my thought is you already doing the work.
People are intimidated by what they don't do day to day. So they don't think they can learn something new. They don't think that they can, you know, and so it's about confidence.
If somebody else can do it, then I can do it.
Well,
if it can be done, then why not me?
Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why, you know, I'm so relatable to my students, because I remember when I got my first TANF contract and I went into the classroom and I told them I used to sit right there.
I threw a word out there we don't know.
So I was in a welfare to work program. I was on welfare and I had to work. And so I had to go into one of their work programs. Well, now, you know, I now that, you know, that training provider that's, you know, and when I taught my first class, I pointed to the students. I sat right there in that seat back there in the corner, you know, and so.
You pointed to your seat?
Oh, I pointed to exactly where I sat, you know, to let them know that, you know, you can get on the other side of this classroom just like I did.
How did they receive that?
Oh, my goodness. Google my program and look at the reviews. You know, and it's the students who that's directly.
What's the name of the program to Google?
Celebrate Us Workforce Training. And if you click on reviews, you know, one of my students said I have
change the name.
Say it again. No, it's Celebrate Us Workforce Training. Celebrate is spelled with 2 E's because we do extra for the students. And you will see what the students say about their self, that they didn't believe in themselves until they took the training. They didn't realize that their anger was coming from massive disappointment, and they
And
had to.
is any of the anger coming from grief,
It's come from trauma. Yeah, from
trauma?
trauma. And so, one of the things that is spelled with two E's, Donnie,
What?
Celee.
Oh, I do that.
Um, and once my program helps them to discover how can they do things better. I never forget, gosh, I love Catherine Pugh. I never forget when she got elected. I had all my students write her a letter.
You throwing too much information. Time out. Celebrate us. Spell it. I don't have it.
Celee Brate. So it's just celebrate with an extra E.
But where the E goes is where I'm
Celee. Next to the L, it should be two E's. Celee.
Like this?
Yep, that's it. Yep, that's perfect. And so I was telling, my students was talking about the neighborhoods and all that stuff. And I said, well, we got a new mayor. I said, why don't you write a letter to her and tell her what you're going to do to contribute to your neighborhood getting better, that you're going to partner with her. And her office was so sweet. Every student got a letter back from Catherine Pugh's office. And they were, Miss Lisa, she wrote back. But the point of that was to say, you can't put all this on the mayor. Are you going to, make sure that your kids aren't the kids vandalizing the neighborhood? Are you going to clean your trash in the alley? Are you going to,
That's a great point.
Well, no.
So I don't know if I would be using Catherine Pugh as the quintessential example of empowerment.
Well, she was the newly elected mayor. And like I said,
no matter who
the mayor is, it doesn't matter who the mayor is, you want to show your support.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And like I said, that's a perfect example of God knows if somebody cherry picked me, but there's more to me than the bad parts, and so, or the misunderstood parts, and so.
Well, since you brought it up, let me just say, whether it's Sheila Dixon, whether it's Catherine Pugh, whether it's Delegate Nat Oates, whether it's Delegate Cheryl Glenn, when God gives us certain platforms, some opportunities only come once.
That's true.
And when you get the ball.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I tell my
let me finish.
Yeah.
Whether you Lamar, whether you're a famous athlete, a mayor, Eminem has a song, you get one shot. And you got to be ready. And a lot of times we are jiving. We are pussyfooting. Whatever the position, God blesses you with it. You cannot fumble. You can't say, oh, the white people do this. Oh, but you ain't saying when the white people. You can't use no excuses at all. You get one shot and you got to score. And a lot of times we're not that serious. From the Ravens mentality to the person on the street, you get one shot. And when you do get that opportunity, you have to score. The same energy we put into learning a TikTok dance, because we'll learn a TikTok dance quick.
Right.
But we won't learn a job skill.
Right. One of the things that I teach my students is how to build their own anthem. So an anthem is a song of loyalty, the national anthem. And so, it consists of 5 principles to live by daily. So I live by.
What are the 5 principles?
So the first one is do the right thing first. A lot of times people make doing the right thing an alternative, but you can't break the rule and then want to do the right thing. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. And so the first one is do the right thing first. The second one is lead with kindness. The third one is integrity always. The fourth one is improve on something every day. And the fifth principle is walk in peace. I live by that every day. I live by that every
I
day.
think we need to put that up here.
Yeah, you can create your own. It's one of my modules in my training class that, you know, if you want to get better.
Let's get them again.
Okay, so
do the right thing first.
Do the right thing first. The second one is lead with kindness. The third one is integrity always. The fourth one is improve on something every day. And the fifth one is walk in peace. And so just like you know the words to your favorite song, this is my favorite song. I know all the lyrics, you know, and I live by it. And it's funny because I don't even run red lights anymore. Because I'm so
Baltimore cameras. They got cameras for that, but they ain't got cameras in there watching the Baltimore City public school administrators handle all that money.
Well, what I'm saying is when you do something every single day, you are training your brain.
Yeah, that's why I got to come and do this show, no matter how I feel. Every day I got to do this show.
Yep. And so, you know, and that's
no matter how I feel. You ever hear this? A brother learned this and taught me this years ago. He said they used to say it over Baltimore City Jail, and I just loved it. I've carried it with me since high school. He said, up to day, down tomorrow, do your day and everything will follow. Nothing to it but to do it. I got to do it, regardless of how I feel. I am somebody. I am my brother's keeper. Security provided by Pharaoh, the German Shepherd.
And we appreciate Pharaoh.
Thank you, Pharaoh.
But no, you know, the only way you're going to get better is there's some things that you have to do that makes you consistent. Now, that doesn't say that you're going to fail. You're not going to fail. Of course you are. But, you know, they taught us in business school how to fail up. You know, failing is important because that's your map. So now you know what to do and what not to do. I fail at something every day, but the impact is not as damaging because I work on improving on something every day. And so, and I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that you're not going to have bumps in the road, but the bottom line is there's a difference between independence and freedom. So we're all free, but independence comes with a higher price. I love being independent, you know, but you have to be a person that understands high accountability, being consistent, keeping your word, you know, treating people right, and not being self-serving, not be, you know, and so that's how I stay independent.
You're preaching to the choir.
You know,
and it costs to be the boss.
It costs to be the boss, but
you got to be willing to do those things. Just like, and the reason I ask, you know, people from time to time, have you ever thought about being a supervisor on this particular job? Oh no, I don't want the responsibility, because you're already doing the damn job.
You really are.
I don't get, well, I'm just doing a few extra hours. No, that's management. You already the manager, but you don't want the responsibility.
Well, once again, it's confidence. It's confidence, and you know,
maybe they're right. I don't know. Maybe it's better to get a lot of overtime without the headache. I that's why it worked for me. I'm my boss. If I'm gonna work overtime, if I'm gonna bust my butt, that's why we started this network. Radio One said they want me to give them $200 a week. I said, if I'm gonna give anybody $200 a week, it's gonna be me.
Right. I mean, that's the spirit of entrepreneurship. So either you're working to make.
I'll be damn. I'm going. If you don't build your dream, somebody will pay you to build theirs.
Well, that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. And so everybody is not wired the same. You know,
Most people don't want to be the leader.
Right. Because once I have a module called the CEO of You. Everybody thinks that the role of the CEO is so glamorous and sexy, but
No.
until you are in charge of you know, and so we were talking about the CEO, one of the former CEOs of McDonald's that got fired for he was in a relationship with a 19-year-old crew member. So my student said, well, Miss Lisa, she was old enough. And, you know, no, but you're missing the point. He's in leadership. You know, you have
to setting a good example.
You're right. And so once again,
and you're changing the culture.
Yes.
Because you're then giving permission to someone else to do the same.
Exactly. And so you're supposed to be.
He's a grown ass man.
Right. 43 years old with a 19-year-old crew member. You know, you are supposed to be developing more leaders. So when you are a leader,
too many men will justify, oh, what's wrong with that? Stop it. Grow up, bro.
Right. Exactly. Well, you're looking at you're it's not even about you and your happiness or whatever. It's about what about the other 18 and 19-year-old crew members that feel less than, you know, like you have to. And once again,
speak, sister, a grown man.
Right. But he, you know,
I'm not saying it can't be love.
Right. But
there's no one else you can find.
Well, even if that's the person, you know,
get a job elsewhere.
Remove them off the stage, right?
Yeah.
You know, because you have to look at what your role. There's a lot of responsibility in being in charge.
Damn, Skippy.
So if you're not in charge of yourself, you know, that's why we have child protective services agencies. Because unfortunately, when you have a baby, you are put in charge of another human being.
Tell me more about this in charge of yourself. I think you're on to something serious here.
Yep. So the CEO of You is 20 traits that will help you improve being more in charge of you, your decision making, you know, your choices. Because in order for you to be effective at anything, you have to be in charge and full command of you, your thoughts, your actions. You know, are you helping people? Are you holding yourself accountable? When you mess up, do you fess up? You know, and so
when you mess up, do you
fess up? You know, you have so many people that
this is some adult stuff. Say it again. When you mess up,
you fess up. You know what?
You fess up?
I did a
hold up. You mean like owning my SHIT?
Own it with the confidence that, you know what, I don't have this figured out yet, but I'm gonna fix this.
Okay, so you've had to own your stuff before.
Oh yes.
Because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be here if I didn't own my mistakes.
Right. You can't heal if you don't take ownership. And so if you say
that again.
If you don't, you can't heal. The only way you can move forward to anything else is that you have to repair what's broken, what's injured, what, you know, you can't move forward unless you fix and repair, you know, what led to, you know, you missing out on things or you not being able to have things. And so you can't move forward if you can't do a better job at being you.
Who you think you are?
And so the
first,
go ahead.
Tell me about a difficult student, Lisa.
So a difficult student
who you were able to help.
Mm-hmm. So I had a student who and this is so sad.
But you're gonna make us smile before it's over.
Right. So okay. I had a student that was very toxic. She had a wonderful childhood. Thank
you, Melvin, for your participation. The training for anyone or the income is for anyone.
It's for anyone. And so
there you go, Melvin. Peace, brother Bay. Come on.
Mm-hmm. And so her parents were teachers. And so she talked about a trip to Disney World, when she was 9. So that gave her so much attention in the classroom that she wanted the whole training to be about her and all the things she did as a child. But what are you saying to the other women that are on welfare like you? You're trying to make them feel less than. So, I have very good classroom management, right? I know how to redirect the
She
students.
was stunting.
Huh?
She was stunting.
Right. She was stunting about what happened to her at 9 years old when some responsible adults were in charge. But at 35, she was in a welfare to work program like the other 28 students. So I couldn't allow her
to hijack the program,
to commandeer the classroom. So I had to redirect the classroom, to make sure, like I said, you have to have classroom management when you teach a class on a college campus. I'm responsible for everybody I bring on that campus from Celebrate Us. So, I'm very mindful of that. And so when she could no longer talk about her childhood experiences, she kind of went on this campaign to get students to drop out my training. And so one of the students that she was a classroom bully. She was effective to get some students to drop out. And one of the students didn't know that when you drop out of a training that the state pays for, you get sanctioned. You get sanctioned because remember, they can't bring harm to the provider, which means that the state still has to pay me. So they get sanctioned. And so one of the students came to me and said that she was working and she had to work because when they found out because if a student stops coming, I have to
report. They taxed her, they garnished her.
For 3 years they got sanctioned. And so she said, Miss Lisa, you taught us in class to make sure that we verify who we follow. If we're going to follow somebody, make sure they got receipts that they are the person that should be followed. And you were so right. That student had nothing for us. Like she was telling us that she was going to help us get in a better program. And one of the things that I love about my successful students,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Successful students solidify you. So they saw other students getting into nursing programs, working at, and they had nothing. They had to start all over again because they followed somebody that feelings got hurt because they couldn't take over the classroom.
They couldn't own their stuff either.
Right. Well, she apologized to me and asked me if I could help her. And of course I helped her. Because
the stunter came back and apologized.
No, one of the people that was influenced by the stunner.
Okay.
Because remember, there's power in numbers. She didn't want to walk out that classroom by herself. So she got some students that admired her and didn't recognize that she was a bully and didn't recognize that she was on welfare like them, and they followed her, and but once again, can I get personal for 30 seconds?
You can do whatever you want. Okay. You help people unconditionally. That's why I love you.
One of the things that
Mr. Alvin.
One of the things that Mr. Alvin told me on the day after we got married was, I'm going to take care of you the rest of your life. He said, I know you went to school. I know you got degrees, you got your business, but you are my wife. I'm going to take care of you. Now, he said that to me, right? Now, that was, so even though we were already together, being the wife is different, right? Much different, right? Now, what if he said that, but he didn't follow up and didn't own it, right? And that's what happened to these students. Now, he has owned it exceedingly above, right? And so, but this
happens to be a black man.
And I tell this to my students, a black man that's never been to jail, a black man that's never, not perfect, but a black man that checked all the boxes. And and women want a good
I,
man.
lo- I
And they,
love I love to hear people brag about their
yeah,
significant. I love it. It warms
they
my
think that there
soul.
are no good men out here.
Come on,
No,
baby. Come
no,
on, baby.
no. A man wants a woman he can invest in and grow with, not a woman he got to sponsor.
Ooh, Lisa Pierce. Lisa
And
Pierce. I
so,
almost said Lisa Pierce.
and so I tell my students, if you're not
Great job,
attracting the
Lisa.
person that you
Great
want,
job.
you gotta look at you.
Great job, Lisa.
You know,
I
look
do
at
have to
you.
look at me.
Yeah, you can't look
I
at,
have to
oh, there
own
are no good
myself.
men. No, the woman I was 20 years ago, I would have never attracted someone like him.
Ooh, help me, somebody. Toxic.
Toxic, angry, you know, entitled, you know, uh, you're not coming over until you pay for my hair. No, that's not what men want. Men are smart.
Some. Many.
The men who men
Men can be smart. Men can be stupid. Women can be smart. Women can be
right,
stupid.
but
It's all
men
about
who know what
decision.
they want. They know what they want and they don't settle.
Settle.
They
It's a
don't
brand
settle.
new year. It's 2023. We
Yeah,
settling still?
yeah. You shouldn't settle. And
What
so
is settling? And how do
settling
we
is
stop
saying,
settling? I know we gone over. We just gonna go over. We need because somebody is settling out there in a relationship, in a job, in a business, or they haven't started a business, or they haven't gone to college. They've settled. Like this is where I'm going to be.
they have accepted failure before trying.
Whoa! My daddy said you got to try.
Yeah, you got to try. We are so conditioned to fail. But what if you win? What if it works?
What if it works?
Yeah.
It just might work. Suppose it works. It could
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
We think
Stop
we see
thinking
so much
about,
loss.
oh, it's going to fail. My mother ain't finished school. I ain't never finished school. But what if you are the one?
It's getting hot in here.
You know,
I'm proud of
I
you.
was
I'm
the
proud
first.
of you.
Well, here's
I'm
the
proud of
thing.
Mr. Alvin too. I've known Mr. Alvin longer than I've known you, but I'm proud. I'm proud of those of us, despite it all. And
Yep.
see, I don't know if the television stations have ever had you on, but you should be on every day.
No, I get
You
enough
should be
shine.
on television
I get enough shine.
at
I'm
least
trying
once.
to let some other people shine. I get enough shine.
When's the last time you've been on television?
Well, I haven't been on television in a while, but I get a
Oh,
lot.
we need you on television. Sister, this is the message that we need on Channel 45. I should buy Channel 45 and just let you do a training program. Do you remember when we were younger, the lady came on Saturday mornings teaching people how to read?
Oh, yeah, Miss Sally.
Not Miss Sally.
Oh,
That
Miss Sally. Okay.
was Channel 2. This is a real conservative lady. But she would break down, this is an A, E.
Oh, wow.
You don't remember that?
I don't
It was
remember
a white
that.
lady, but I love that. I mean, it wasn't like I was learning how to spell, but I just love her calm demeanor, and she was teaching basic fundamentals on reading, writing, and math. Why don't we have that on? We got all of the social media, but our children can't count. Our children can't write in cursive. Do you teach cursive? Do you have people who can't write?
Well, because they're internet babies. They've been, so writing is not the priority anymore. I'm so glad I grew up in a time where I know what encyclopedia is.
Me and Gary Forward used to have handwriting competitions.
Oh, yeah.
He was a lefty.
And wow. Okay.
Yeah, he had a really, my mother taught me how to write, but he was a beast. And I now, as a lefty, I'm a righty. But lefty was different, but he had an immaculate handwriting. He took superior pride in his handwriting, but so did I.
But my reentry.
He was very consistent.
My reentry program, I highlight how well my reentry students write. Now, granted, they may have learned that skill while they were incarcerated, but so what? The only thing that matters is that you have the skill.
I have one more question for you. What do you say to people? A lady said to me once, as if I was shaming our children for not learning, that they'll say something like, now remember, they're saying it to me, not everybody's made for college. I get that. But I also know the story that you and others have told me about people who have gone to prison to get a degree. Because then my question is, why couldn't your ass sit still the first time? And I understand that answer. They had noise. But once they got into a controlled environment where they had no choice, so that all starts at home. My parents made learning fun. I love learning. And not everybody had that experience. But don't tell me that my people who came through a lot cannot get a degree. Our children can't think. I've seen a dude hit a wheelie going up Pennsylvania Avenue against the traffic with somebody on the back with one hand. Don't tell me this same brain is not capable of college. I'm not buying it. Wrong one.
Do you like basketball?
Yeah, love basketball.
Okay, so Allen Iverson was one of my favorite players.
Why?
But he was so consumed by his behavior, all people focused on is him being the bad boy. But did you know that he was an artist, a painter, that he can draw? So a lot of times our gifts are hidden because our behaviors get the attention. So if you focus on, or you accentuate your behavior, your bad behavior, we will never know your gifts. So you have to get to a place where you understand, like I teach my students how to calm down. I teach them how they could go to a new job and in 30 days get a promotion. And like they don't think it's possible, but when the last place I worked,
I know it's possible.
The last place I worked, I got a promotion after 29 days because I went in there with a plan.
Okay, the boss is saying that the show is over.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you. Let's give. Okay. The boss is telling me, look, it's past 1 hour. My German Shepherd is smart as a whip, but she was sharing good information, Pharaoh.
All right.
Hold up, we got some comments here. Hold up,
okay.
Here we go. You done started something.
Yeah.
Hey Darius, I didn't care about the tattoos, the hair braids, and all I want to know is, can you play ball? He did change the game.
He did.
And then in the sense of our people being expressive. But Darius Gissentown, I will give you this observation. Why do we, when we get money, when we get into the league, I saw a guy playing football, professional NFL football, with a chain with a medallion on. Are we that thirsty that we've never had anything? You know, you're on national television. Why you got a chain on?
Well, it's about perspective.
Let me get this out. The chain. Why? Okay, Alan was known for the tattoos. Okay, okay. But I'm just saying, I just want to paint this quick picture. As soon as a black person, a lot of black people, a lot of athletes get the national spotlight. We got 2 earrings all of a sudden. We got the jewelry. When the white guy gets it, no tattoos, no earrings. That's all I'm saying. Driving a pickup truck. We got to be flossing.
All you got to do is look at Jay-Z from 1990 and look at him now.
What is your observation?
You have to evolve. So he wore the chains in the 90s, you know. He did, because that was the scope of all he knew.
His mentality.
Right. So as he got around different people, as he got different opportunities, his perception and his perspective changed. So now, if you look at him, you look like you want to give him $1, because his priorities are what's on the inside, not what's on the outside.
Entertainers have never been our leaders, according to Malcolm X. When I look at Kevin Hart, Kevin Garnett, Jamie Foxx on television pushing sports gambling in my community,
I have
it's like Slim,
that.
go
Yeah.
sit your ass down.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's money. They not doing it for free.
So as long as they're making money,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah,
okay.
I found
It's
that.
okay to sell out your people, because your people like to laugh at you, watch you perform. But now that you got the attention, they're gonna pay you to get your people to gamble.
Yeah, I mean,
Addictively.
Yeah, and
Addiction is addiction.
Yeah, I have a person in my family that is doing all that stuff now. So
down Casino Live with the mortgage money, with the rent money, and that's cool, right?
Yes, what's happening?
I don't walk through Casino Live going to events. That's why I won't give any events at Casino Live. I'm not changing the spirit of
No,
my
I know what
events.
you're saying. Yeah.
Having people walk past some sad ass looking gamblers.
Right.
Because they look sad. Addiction is addiction. Dope, coke, gambling, liquor, tricking, slinging.
Food.
Selling dope is as addictive as buying dope.
Well, food was my addiction. Yeah, food was my addiction. I used to be almost 400 pounds.
Darius says the lack of financial discipline is the lack of awareness and education.
Yeah.
You gotta have the education to be disciplined.
Yeah. You got
so maybe financial education.
Yeah, you gotta set goals.
And we got to talk about the trauma. We've seen alcoholism in our families. We've seen drug addiction in our family. We've seen hopelessness in our family. We've seen incarceration in our families. Time to break some generational curses.
Yeah. Yeah.
As hard as it might be, it has been done. It's done every day. Miracles happen every day, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. My goal for my daughter was for her to never be on the government assistance. She's 33 years old. She's never been on food stamps as an adult. She's never been on, but that took some planning.
I got a question for you. And I've thought about this. Should I go get food stamps?
Well, if you need them. If you need them. I mean,
I see other people doing it.
Yeah, well,
there's something about me, because I'm saying that energy I putting 8 hours, 10 hours going over there and letting the people of social services get on my damn nerves. I just go out here and get me some hustle going on.
Well, if you can't find a hustle, that's what an entitlement, that's what a safety net program is for.
I guess if I had to, I would, but I'm going to use that same energy and go hustle.
Yeah, I mean,
I've seen the way people get treated at social services.
Yeah.
I've seen it firsthand.
My goal was to
by our own people.
Yeah.
The people who need it the most have trouble getting it, but there are other people who are veterans that are getting assistance, masters of the system.
Well, you got to look at who you're hiring. Are you hiring workers or are you hiring advocates? I teach my students to be an advocate for people. When you go to work, you're an advocate. You're not a worker.
This guy needs his own show. He really needs his own show. So let me see. You see this profile picture? This guy's pretty smart. Why does he have a cigarette in his mouth in his profile picture? Would you hire him?
Who?
The comment right here.
Well, I mean,
is that necessary? Is that productive for business? Darius is one of my mentees.
Well, if he's smoking cigarettes in the privacy of his home or outside or whatever, but
would you have that on your profile picture?
No, because remember, you attract what you want. So you have to build your profile to what you want, not what you like.
I want Darius to have a show on this network.
Yeah, so he has, if he wants
he has a challenge conforming to our policies and
procedures. Right. Well, when in Rome. So rules are designed to keep order. That's what I teach my students.
So does this come up in your class? I got one more question. Does speaking the King's English come up as a topic in your class?
That's one of the 20 traits of being the CEO of you. But how you get there is you have to read, because reading expands your vocabulary. And so that's number 14 on the 20 traits of being a CEO of you. Read, because I didn't talk like this 15 years ago, but once I, started my journey on my education. Yes, we have both your books.
Charles Robinson said, I don't push my books enough. Lisa, I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, Nani. Thank
my
you
love
so
to
much.
Mr. Alvin.
Yeah. I actually have a meeting at 11 with the executive director of Prince George's County Schools, the CTE. They want to put some of my programs in Prince George's County Schools.
Are you in Baltimore City Public Schools?
Nope. They everywhere.
You remind me of Hugh Smith. A prophet is not welcome in his own town. We got to go out of state, out of Baltimore to get love. But what I do not understand is we have these famous nonprofits that get millions of dollars. They have these fabulous organizations, but they don't.
So you want to know what she and I are talking about?
Sure.
How we're going to put Walgreens pre-pharmacy tech silos in all 33 high schools, because they don't have the partners.
In Prince George's County. I'm thinking, wow, Baltimore City could really benefit, but Baltimore City's not calling Prince George's County. Did you know Baltimore City and Prince George's County are 23 and 24 in terms of public education?
Well, they got a new. They
at the bottom. Both of them at the bottom.
Yeah. Well, they got a new CTE executive director for kids that don't go to college.
What's CTE? I don't know.
Oh, that career training and education. So that's an arm for kids who may delay college or not go, but they can still have a high earning, fulfilling career. And so she and I
put it there. Power to the people. I was giving you a fist bump.
Oh, yeah. And so we're going to put silos, Walgreens silos. So when they finish pharmacy in her school, we're going to help her expand. And the kids are going to go to the bridge program from Walgreens, because Walgreens will hire at 16. So we're going to get those students in position not to be pharmacist technicians, to go all the way to be a pharmacist.
Walgreens hires at 16.
They hire at 16.
Lisa, what do you think when you see people standing on the corners like they can't get a job?
They just don't have the information.
I mean, considering what it takes to stand on a corner and all that you deal with, you got to watch your back from the criminal, you got to watch your back from the police.
Mm-hmm. So you have to get people out of survival mode. You have people that are not living, they're existing. And if you're existing in life, it's because you're in survival mode. So when you're in survival mode, all you're doing is trying to just get through your day. So you're not planning, you're not researching, you're not, exploring other options. I'm a training provider for the health department's violence prevention program. And there was a young man on his way to kill somebody that the detectives, he witnessed someone killing his best friend. He was planning to go and take revenge. And so I'm a training provider. So the police department, they have resources, and they gave him this resource. He got into the violence prevention program at the health department. He came to my program. He is now almost on his second year working at FedEx Freight, making $20.94 an hour as a material. He loads the FedEx trucks that take the stuff to the airport, but FedEx Freight as a company has a Black Excellence Network where they get the Black executives from FedEx to mentor the young people. Oh, you are so welcome. But he told me, his name is Emmanuel. Emmanuel said, Miss Lisa, my aunt said, I have the highest paying job in the whole family. He never worked a day in his life. He was on the corner. and he witnessed his friend getting killed. And like I said, the detectives, when they come on the crime scene, they had resources. They gave him the card and he made the call.
But how many times do we get the card and don't?
Mm-hmm. He called them and they gave him wraparound services. But when he got that job at FedEx Freight, that plant surrounded him with positive men. And, you know, so he's driving now. He has a license. He has his own apartment, you know. And but he didn't have that information, you know, until he took the card and made the phone call.
He made the call, though.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we got the card. We got the card. We got a stack of cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I love outreach. That's why I love having, you know, resource fairs. Come to the resource fair, you know, come and see what's available to you. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I said these companies have wonderful resources, but they are not going to knock on doors. You know, they want you.
They're not going to beg you to come and get the money.
Right. But like I said,
you got to get up off your duff and go and get it.
That's why
that's what I'm saying.
I work with companies that are going to invest in my students' learning.
We put in 8 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours on a corner. Wearing the same funky clothes we had on yesterday. Ain't making no whole damn money, risking your life. Somebody might get jealous, all for a new damn outfit.
Right. Emmanuel is an example of going from existing in life to living life. He went out of survival mode to now, you know, the person told me it was so nice to see him put in his vacation slip, you know, because he get paid.
God be the glory.
Yes, God be the glory, you know, and for him to go from being the black sheep of the family to being.
I don't like that word. I don't like that word. The white sheep of the family. But I ain't buying no black. Black sheep sound pretty to me. Black ball, black sheep, black eye. No, not in 24. No.
Well, the most underachieving person.
Right. Because black is beautiful.
Yes.
Did you know that Uncle Tom was really a hero? Uncle Tom was a hero. Well, but the way the story was twisted, they demonized Uncle Tom. Sambo is what they really want to say.
Well, that's what I teach my students, to learn things for yourself. Research things for yourself.
Okay. All right, you got to go. I got to go.
Yep. All right. I don't want to get you in more trouble. So invite me back after I do I'm going to invite you. I'm going to have you be a part of the Rikers Island visit.
Yes. New York.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Doni. Let me get ready for my meeting.
Yes, ma'am. God bless you in the name of.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.